Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to our morning note. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the G.A.R Capital YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. It is October 8th, 2020. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital, as you can see here in the logo. Thanks again for stopping by. Let's go ahead and talk market, shall we? Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner, make sure to click that icon, subscribe, like, turn on notifications for all videos. Really do appreciate it. One housekeeping note, just a heads up, next week I will be on vacation. Little rest and relaxation before the crazy election season that's going to come, earnings reports, and the final stretch of 2020. So I definitely want to go and get some rest in before that craziness begins. The whole team is going to be rested and ready to go. So I know for a fact I probably won't be sleeping election night, so might as well get my rest in now. So next week, no morning notes, just a heads up. But on Sunday, I will go ahead and do a video for you guys, kind of setting you up for the week so you guys are not really missing much. Um, Maybe here and there, I'll go ahead and kind of check in, maybe on IG Live or something. We'll see what's up. I know you guys like the recaps, so I could probably still do the recaps in the afternoon, worst case scenario, but morning notes won't happen. The Wi-Fi at the hotels aren't really that great. So again, no morning note all of next week. So just a heads up. I know you'll probably be missing it, but I promise when I get back, it'll be better than ever, keeping you guys up to date with everything and right on time for earnings season so you guys could be prepped. So Sunday, I'll go ahead and post the video. Make sure to turn on notifications when you see that's up and I'll get you guys prepped for the week that I'm gone. Worst case scenario, of course, as you know, if you're a part of the team, Anthony, Kevin, Nick, both Nicks, Juan, all here to help you guys out, answer any questions as always. We have our social media team helping us out with Twitter and Instagram, answering your questions. And of course, any kind of issues, you can always contact our great customer service team, garcapital@gmail.com. So again, I am not the only one here. I have a great team. Without the team, I'm nothing, to be completely honest with you. So they're going to do great. And of course, if anything you need, make sure to email. You can always comment here on YouTube, or you can send us a DM on Instagram. Many ways to reach out to us. So I just want to give you a heads up. So if you don't see a morning note next week, it's because I am out. And I'm the only one who does the morning note on YouTube. So just a reminder. But I will make sure to get you guys prepped on Sunday. Um, we're going to go over some headlines, talk markets, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, Dow futures up 186 points. Nice pump. Nice breakout on E-mini futures. I probably aged about 10 years in about 2 days due to this craziness. Obviously, I'm surprised I don't have gray hair yet. That's neither here nor there. So again, not Tuesday never happened. This right here, no big deal. Never happened. Who cares, right? Man, it is short. It is hard to be short this market, guys. It is very hard to be a bear when you have so many forces going against you. Dow futures up 187, Nasdaq up 0.86%, S&P up 0.63%, Russell 2000 up 1%. Crude oil futures up 1.88%, Bitcoin futures down 0.14%, gold futures up 0.60, 1902 an ounce, silver futures 1.21% at 24.18 an ounce. Euro dollar is down 117.49 is the rate, down 14 pips. Dollar yen for my forex people 105.97, basically flat. Dollar index is up slightly 0.07% at 93.69, and the VIX is getting slammed down 8%, which is a really good sign if you are a stock bull. So, a couple things that I have open because I know pretty much everyone's going to ask me. I know our members, which we have a lot of them, they always ask me here on the morning note. So thank you so much for guys for joining me. If you are a student, we're going to go over some stuff once we close our positions and go over the chart. So yesterday, I mean, after the craziness of Tuesday afternoon was absolutely wild. I mean, that big pump, I mean, futures did well, but I mean, for the most part, we kind of sat on our hands on the option side. We have some trades open, and I mean, it's looking great. Breakouts across the board. We have square calls, which are in the money. We have the 180s. We have IWM in the money, 161s. We also have, I believe, QQQ in the money. That's now, we have the 280s. Now it's at 282. Very nice breakout. So we should be cashing those in. And it's crazy because there's really one thing I want to really, really focus on is the fact that guys, this kind of market, it's not even your fault when things go against you. We totally get that. It's just really difficult to kind of walk through the landmines of the market when you have tweets and you have headlines coming in. But we did not panic close anything right at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, 2:30. We saw what happened and we held on pat. We stuck with it. And I think we're going to get rewarded today with our patience. So I think this is a really big lesson to all traders out there that kind of stick with your technicals, stick with what you got, stay with what you got, unless trends literally break. E-mini futures did not break the 200, and Nasdaq did not break the Fibonacci levels. I mean, overnight, yes, we broke the 200 on Qs, but it actually bounced back, so it didn't matter because you couldn't close anyways with QQQ. IWM held trend on the 50-day moving average. Square held trend with the rising wedge. Looks great across the board. Alibaba, we held trend as well with a ascending triangle. I got that with the members, with the students, excuse me. So, I mean, you gotta kind of stay with that resolve even when times are hard. If there's one thing that I have told students, which I'm always talking to them, we do the radio, we do the TV, masterclass students, is that if you can literally almost survive 2020, you're literally, if you ever played Halo, is legendary mode. This is the hardest, the most difficult, the most frustrating market I have ever seen. And I've been in finance since 2006. I worked at Citibank starting as customer service, bottom of the barrel, obviously worked my way up. But since 2006, I've always watched financial markets. And I remember back in 2006, 2007, well, no, obviously 2008, fine. But even after that, in 2010, markets weren't really this volatile at all. It was very kind of, up 100 points in the Dow, up 50 in the Dow, down 50, kind of a snooze fest. But volatility now with algorithms, headlines, tariffs, you name it, we've had it, we've done it, COVID. I mean, the market is absolutely wild. 1% swings, 2% swings almost daily. So you almost really have to have this resolve and really stick to your analysis. And you can't quit when things go rough. I've said this before and I'll say it again. A trader, show me a trader who bounces back, and I'll show you a trader bounces back in regards to analysis and sticking with it, and I'll show you a successful one. If you just throw up your hands and give up at the first slide of resistance, you're not going to make it. And it's very difficult. This isn't easy. This is not easy. That's one thing I really try to say, that this is not easy, guys. I mean, Tuesday, I was absolutely just floored at what happened on Tuesday with that tweet. Wednesday, I was absolutely floored with the bounce. And then now the continuation, this is unreal. It's absolutely unreal. So, I mean, I don't know how you can be bearish anymore. You can't. So if you're a long-term investor and you're part of this channel, you're sitting pretty. You're laughing at everybody who's a trader losing their mind because you're like sitting back collecting dividends and collecting, looking at gains in your portfolio. So congratulations to you. But if you're a trader and an investor, it's a wild one, to say the least. It's a wild one. But looking at a couple things here. Let's go ahead and get to the charts. Now, the S&P now is at a breakout level. Again, I told everyone this. The really key level was 34.20. We're above that now, 34.27. We hit 34.33 while President Trump was talking on Fox Business News. The only thing that kind of brought it down slightly was that he said if he's reelected, we'll have more China tariffs. So that's where we are. In regards to the NASDAQ futures, NASDAQ futures needs about 11,589. We're about 20 handles away, 30 points away from that. Once we get that, we should be a breakout on the NASDAQ. If you held tech stocks or actually bought the dip, we did. You're doing great. You're looking very great. Small caps, absolutely on fire. IWM, breakout. Again, breakout levels since 153. And the most frustrating thing too is that we had the 153 calls, our members, last Friday. Literally last Friday, we had the 153 calls. And we had to close it at a loss because of what happened in the volatility of the president going to the hospital. Not our fault, not their fault. It's just headlines. But again, if you stuck with it, for example, let's say if you got back in like we did on IWM, you're going to be rewarded today because we actually have the 161 calls on IWM. So it's going to be looking like a great day. I mean, I'm seeing breakouts across the board, which is really great. The VP debate really didn't move the needle as much in regards to volatility. The downside didn't do anything. So again, so we had some price upgrades on Roku. We had some some good notes on Tesla, good notes on Microsoft in regards to Wall Street targets being raised. So again, like we talked about the bull thesis. Remember, I talked about this. This is 2009. We're following the 2009 analog. We're not in 1999. We're in 2009. So you need to be positioning yourself, guys, that if you have a very accommodative Fed, improving economic market conditions, unemployment is getting better. Obviously, unemployment claims was down. Stimulus will be coming. The question is when, how much, who's going to get it? Obviously, taxpayers will get some money, and then the airlines, which always get bailed out. Obviously, they always do, which is, if that's your opinion, if you think that's good or bad. But we are literally at the same 2009 analog. So if we went ahead and looked at 2009 as a whole, and I'm going to go ahead and open up, let's just go open up SPY here. And I'm going to go ahead and open up SPY in a 20-year deal. let me see, look at the daily here. Let me go ahead and bring up the weekly. So let's go ahead and get to the 2009, how low we got on SPY. So 2009 year started, we're literally like at 102, 109-ish. I think it was 107. March of 2008 was the lows of the market. Again, dates really don't matter, but again, March of this year was the lows as well. Coincidence, obviously, but that was the bottom. We were basically saying that we were buying stock at those levels at the lows at 2300. Remember, that was, I kept saying 2300, you should be starting to buy stocks, but start nibbling on stocks. Nibbling, you could, again, we started nibbling, meaning we started buying based on a range of don't put all in on anything, just start getting in dollar cost averaging. So in 2009, we started bouncing back. It looks very similar to those levels that we're getting now. Getting that bounce, again, you'll start getting some little bit of valleys, some falls. Maybe 2 years from now, maybe a year from now, again, you'll get some falls. But all this time in 2009, all the way down to around 2018, that's what that was really about what 9 years of almost 9 years of actually 11 years of a really accommodative Fed. No raising rates, QE, the whole nine. Only we started raising rates right around 2018. And again, we got that big fall in 2018 of December. And then they walked it back. We got to raise up COVID. So imagine looking at this chart and being bearish on the stock market since 1997, saying the world's going to end. You missed out on a rally. I mean, it's a mind-blowing rally, obviously. So again, I'm telling everybody, guys, again, how you do on your portfolio obviously doesn't do anything for me. I don't make money off your portfolio. I don't want to. I just want you guys to succeed. But looking at this analog, it's telling you something. It's telling you an accommodative Fed with improving market conditions, economic conditions. I mean, the Fed is literally mandating to you to buy risk assets. And what are risk assets? Equities. Again, if you want to go ahead and get 0.77% on a 10-year bond, or you want to buy a CD that's 0.4% in return, be my guest. But again, as inflation is running around 1.5%, 2%, according to the Fed, you're behind anyways. So again, there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's stocks, that's companies that still pay great dividends, great balance sheets that are not affected by COVID. And there's some companies, obviously, that have some opportunities that took a hit from COVID that may have an opportunity to bounce when things get better. And guys, things will get better. I talked about that on our investment seminar. I talked about it during the COVID thing. I did an investment seminar talking about everything. This was back in March. That really there's not much to fear in regards to an economic sense. That do things tend to bottom out, things tend to get better. So I think the worst is over. Guys, you're going to get valleys and you're going to get peaks. You're going to get some flushes here and there. Yes, but those are buying opportunities. I do believe, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, we will retake all-time highs by the end of the year. That's my call. We will get all-time highs by the end of the year, and we will hit 4,000 S&P 500, regardless of who wins the election by next August. That's my call, and if I'm wrong, fine. You can make fun of me in the comments. You can yell at me, say, "Oh, it's still bullish," blah blah blah. Fine, whatever. But again, I'm staying along this market. I think any kind of dips are buying opportunities. That's just my 2 cents. Okay, so rant over. Let's go ahead and go over some stuff. So the president actually talked about tariffs, talking about stimulus talks that Nancy Pelosi wants to make a deal now, kind of a change of tone from Tuesday. So let's take a look at what's moving pre-market. I talked about how Roku was up pre-market because of their upgrades. IBM is splitting off some cloud parts of their business, up 8%. Apple's up 1%. Boeing's up. Microsoft, McDonald's increased their dividend, which is nice. Disney, Daniel Loeb, who's a big investor in Disney, says they should not offer a dividend and put more investment of that money into streaming. So that's really nice. Really, that's really smart. I think that dividends for Disney isn't such a big deal. I think if you're buying Disney, you're really not buying it for the yield anyways, which is around 1%. So yeah, I think they should focus on the growing parts of their business. American Airlines up on nearly 2% on talks of an airline bailout, which is more likely going to happen. AMD up 1.5%. I've been saying stick with the semiconductors. Tesla up 2.5% from the great note from yesterday that I posted on Instagram. Nvidia, a beast. 1.14%. If it ever taps 500 again, that's a buying opportunity, guys. That's a great company to own. I still like AMD. I still love Nvidia long term. So again, those are some of my things that I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. Sorry for the rant. I know you guys love it. So either way, good morning. What are we looking at today? Again, what I'm looking at, what I've opened, IWM, Square, QQQ, and my Alibaba calls. So that's what I'm looking at today. Obviously, there's something else I'm looking at, which is obviously Roku. Roku is up very nicely. I would not want to buy the name at this very moment. Obviously, I want to see if we could break a little higher. Maybe if we take the 222 level, it has to be for next week. It can't be for this week. Again, you're really looking at next week plays when you're in Thursday mode. We're back to February. That's true. ES at 32.45. Alert at 1 a.m. now. Yeah, I just talked about ES that we getting that break again. Now we're back to early September, back to February highs. I mean, this is big. Now, what is your next stop? What is your next level? What's the next level to watch on evening futures? Let's go ahead and look at a daily chart and kind of break it down together. Really, your next level here is right around 34.50, actually around 34.57-ish, and then 3500. But like I've said, 35.76 all-time highs will be hit by December. You guys will see. You could timestamp this and look at it later, but again, it's more likely going to happen, and I'm confident in that. When will be the podcast? Okay, so obviously the president's out of the hospital. The next debate will be virtual. President Trump says he's not going to do it. The podcast will be this weekend. The political podcast. Let me redo that. Political podcast. Take away politics. It's the elections. I'm not here to do a political editorial. I'm just going to give you the facts. You guys decide on how it affects stock market. So I'll go ahead and give you that podcast this weekend. Now that the president's feeling better and we know what we're going with. Good morning, Carlos. Reverse head and shoulders in the SPY daily chart. No, I think for the most part, I mean, I really don't look at head and shoulders or anything like that. So again, I still think that we're still bullish here, but I see what you're saying. But again, I still think we're going to get that continuation to the upside anyways. Let's see, TQQ on a breakout. Again, QQQ is up. So if you're looking at TQQ, that's a triple leverage ETF. So that means it's going to be breaking out as well. Talk to me about Docu. DocuSign I do like. Again, I'm pretty heavy in tech companies, so I'm not going to buy anymore. But you're right at the 50-day moving average. It looks very solid. If you're looking to actually probably buy a position or initiate a position, right around 215, 220 seems to be a prudent level to get in. I like DocuSign with as a COVID play. AMD back to that resistance point. Think it breaks through today or tomorrow at 90. Actually, with the students, I bought the AMD 90 calls for November. Let me go ahead and get the exact call. So we are in the 90 calls for November 6th. I had great volume, and we're literally above that resistance point. You nailed it. And I actually have a line there drawn. Let me go ahead and bring this up on a daily. And you could see that was kind of that resistance point. We are tapping that above that. 87.94 is the current level on the daily. Right here, obviously, doesn't show pre-market. We're breaking above that. So again, we should gap fill to 90. You can see this gap right here. We should gap fill to 90 and get paid. So it won't be today, obviously. I mean, Brandon, we'll see. But again, it looks very nice. Again, I've been bullish on AMD for a while, guys. I've been saying it. AMD and Nvidia, the two chip companies you need to own, in my opinion. Thoughts on Valero? I would stay away completely from energy, guys. It's just not paying out enough. It's a dividend gap. If you had to buy an energy company, I like Valero, but I obviously would say Chevron more. I would stay away from ExxonMobil. Do not get into that dividend creep or that dividend trap of 10% yield. You're not going to get that. And if they did pay that, that'd be a real waste of their capital that's much needed. Again, crude oil is hovering 41 a barrel. It's not sustainable at those levels to pay out those dividends. So again, it's going to be very difficult. You're going to see a lot of M&As. You're going to see a lot of mergers and acquisitions from these big oil firms. I think Chevron comes out on top, and I'd rather stick with them. They're actually going to pay the dividend. They're pretty much sticking with that. Would you recommend nibbling at some stocks on Friday or wait for the downside? I buy stocks every Friday. SpyG. Again, that's my favorite ETF is SpyG. I buy it every single Friday without fail. So again, that's kind of my dollar cost averaging on my portfolio. So I buy it every Friday. So yeah, if you want to take a look at that. Let's see. Good morning, boss. Good entry on NASDAQ 100. Are you talking about Qs? Qs, again, you're at a breakout point. Again, we're already in the calls. So actually, if you're looking to buy QQQ right now, would probably be a good level to buy. I hate to buy stocks when they're up. But again, a breakout level does tell you a lot. What's our target for QQQ? Well, target is money, obviously, but we're in calls. So obviously 40, 50% would be great. Let's see what we get. But if you're talking about the actual levels, the next highs on Qs, that'll be right around, if I can get the daily up, your next level up, actually your high is 303. I think we should be able to get, if I can get this level going, around 286.66. But by next week, we got to, I think 286.66 hits after the earnings season within 2 weeks from now. So just a heads up. So QQQ would be a good bet ahead of time. Apple, Jonathan's asking regarding Apple. Apple is announcing their new iPhones. I'll be watching that. That's on August 13th or 14th. So I'll do some live tweeting on that, watching that. We watched the last Apple keynote, which was the watches and the watches and the iPads. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. Apple is boosting, obviously, with tech. Remember, Apple's the largest part of the S&P. When the S&P is up, Apple is usually up. Just keep that in mind. I do enjoy the rants, but what are your thoughts on DraftKings now that it's come down a bit? I actually bought the dip on DraftKings and I love it. I actually play on DraftKings every weekend. I put like a buck or two in regards to the lineup, so I eat the home cooking. I think here is a good price to buy. I just don't want to double dip and buy some more here. So again, I already bought the dip, so I do like DraftKings long term. My thesis in investing is video games and sports gambling. Sports gambling, again, as we get more progressive, as uh, as these states need revenue to cover the COVID losses, they're going to start, in my opinion, legalizing sports gambling to bring that revenue in. And again, cannabis will be the same way. Video games are getting bigger and bigger as people are staying home. So I love the video game stocks. Cannabis stocks, again, that's going to be a little longer term. But against fantasy sports and sports gambling, I think I'm very bullish on that. I read that we're in an economic bubble and this recovery is an artificial bull market. In order to keep it running, the government needs to be effectively involved. What's your opinion? We've been effectively involved. The government has been effectively involved in every aspect of the economy for 70 years now. Well, actually longer than that, since the New Deal in the 30s. What's really changed now? I mean, low interest rates. Again, the Fed is pumping liquidity in. If you want to call it an artificial bull market, that's fine. But where else are you going to put your money? That's the question. I would say the only thing that will mark a top for me is when the Fed raises rates. When the Fed starts raising rates, you need to start taking profits because then money becomes harder to obtain. Again, scarcity is implied. Money becomes harder to obtain because interest rates are going up. So just that's your tell. Instead of oil, what about solar energy? Solar energy is fine. Again, if you want to be in solar energy, I own Tesla. I think they own First Solar, so that's one way to go. But I think there's other companies out there. Solar energy is kind of a tough sell for a lot of people. But again, I'm not going to buy any stocks in regards to solar personally. But again, energy stocks are just not paying. They're just not really worth it. DKNG calls today, Nvidia calls today. DKNG calls is not going to happen. I'll tell you that much. Nvidia calls, video is moving to the upside. Expensive, but again, let's see if we break 560, 568. Let's see. Gambling and weed smoking 20 years, people would be mad. That's true. I mean, again, progression of society changes. Again, the vices, they still been around. Tobacco stocks still doing well. And you're also talking, the alcohol companies are still doing well. Vice stocks do well, man, especially in a pandemic. Can you start try any trends in BABA? Yeah, again, we're getting that breakout. 300 is going to happen. I'm looking at it here. 299.51 is that breakout level. We're at 298.61. We should get that break. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Sorry about the rant. Sorry about answering every question. I got to get with the team. We're about 5 minutes away from the bell. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. Hopefully, it won't take this long again. That'll be tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. That's tomorrow. So I'll catch you guys then. Have a great rest of your day, guys. GARCapitalFX.com is the website. We'll catch you guys soon.